Yeah, so this is actually the office. This is what I work from every day, all right? Laptop laid out. This is my main kind of hub, all right? So everything I do, you can see right now, we're doing some product research, got both Helium 10 and Jungle Scout pulled up. This is an external monitor. Honestly, I highly suggest getting a setup like this. You can find another TV for maybe like $100. You get a Samsung, just HDMI into your computer. It helps tremendously when you're trying to actually go ahead and start applying these things, especially if you're taking a course, especially if you're trying to learn something while implementing it. You can watch in one and you can work in the other. And that, to me, is the most efficient way to spend your time. If you're trying to learn a new skill set, there's one thing about having the technical information, the in and the out of how do I actually go and do this, okay? So once you figure out how to do it, you need to go and actually do it and apply that though. Knowledge that you don't apply, knowledge that you learn from reading a book, watching a course, whatever, that knowledge is great, and to be able to share that with somebody else is great, but if you can't go and implement it, then you really didn't, in a way, to me, it's useless. And anything that I learn, anything I try to put on here, I try to give you something tactical to take away from every single day. So this video is about setting up your daily routine. And trust me when I say that it's not easy, all right? I get that life comes up, something happens, all right? But at the end of the day, if you have parameters to work within, you're gonna be that much more efficient. You're gonna get that much more done. And when you get to the point at the end of the day, you're gonna feel that much more fulfilled because you know that you did your best, hustled, and achieved a lot, all right? And you start doing that day in, day out, dude, you're gonna see that compounding effect of your efforts, and you're going to start seeing the bank account increase. You're going to start seeing your strength at the gym increase. You're going to start seeing the people around you level up, and the people that don't belong in your circle fade away because they're not going to be able to keep up with you. So let's really quickly talk about how I structure my day. All right. So I'm one of those people that I get up at 4:45 and I go to the gym pretty much every day. And the reason being is that not only puts, physical health first, but when you get out of bed in the morning, it's the last thing I want to do. And living in New England, especially come winter time, it's cold out. You walk out in shorts and a hoodie and you're freezing, but it wakes you up. It's a stunning thing and it makes you uncomfortable and it makes you go through that. All right, I have a different workout for every single day of the week. And if you want to, basically start implementing that, look up a very basic workout. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, but have a structure. If you just say, I'm going to go to the gym every day at, 5 a.m., but you don't know what you're doing when you walk in the door, you're not going to have a great workout. It's not going to be very efficient. The same thing applies to e-commerce. The same thing applies to business. So have something laid out. Take the time to plan it and then go and execute on it. And so when you're doing this, though, go in. Let's say Monday's chest, Tuesday's back, Wednesday's shoulders. Every day you're doing cardio and abs, but then you have specific groups and specific actual workouts that you're doing. All right, maybe you have goals of the weights you want to hit in those. All right, so then start lower and work your way towards them. After the gym, I'll wrap up there. I'll probably get back to the house around 7 a.m., take a shower, and eat breakfast. Breakfast is always pretty much the same thing, all right? And it's just routine, but it's one less decision I have to make. And I don't think people understand the mental power and the mental capacity that you have in a day. You only have so much, all right? So I would rather kind of autopilot certain things and then actually have the willpower and the focus to go solve the hard problems and really make sure I'm getting after those. So after I eat breakfast, then I'm going to go and read. I pick up a book and I usually have anywhere from 4 to 5 going at a time. I flip through that, or I'll pick a certain chapter and I'll read until I find a nugget. I'm not going to spend, 3 hours cranking through half a book, full book. I'm literally just going to read until I find something. And that might be 5 minutes, that might be 30 minutes. And in that time frame, then it's okay, that clicks, that makes sense. Let me go try to apply that. Next, I'm going to go and actually get on my computer. And the first thing that I'm going to do when I fire up this is to do the revenue creating activities. I'm going to go do what I know needs to be done to make sure that the money keeps coming into my business. So as a business owner, it's now your responsibility to make sure that you're constantly filling that pipeline, all right? Whether you're on Amazon, and making sure your listings are optimized, you're looking at how to launch the next product to keep expanding your brand, you're scaling to Shopify, and you want to make sure your Google AdWords, Facebook ads are doing well. Whatever your business is, you need to make sure that you are driving it forwards, all right? Some people get into this game and they see the results and they kind of step off the gas, and then, a few months later, they're like, well, why aren't we going anywhere? Why did, our revenue decline this month? It's because you didn't keep persisting with it. Now, understand that you don't need to necessarily put in 8, 10, 12, 16, 18-hour days every single day, but in the beginning, you probably do. You need to stick with it to make sure you have something all of a sudden, really, really laid out. Now, When I get to lunch, same deal as basically breakfast. It is literally all made on Sunday. I do my own meal prep. I know their services. I've looked at them. Honestly, I like to be in control of just about everything. So I spend, let's just say 2 hours on Sunday. I'll go to the grocery store, basically buy the same things. I've started using some of the to-go services because you can just reorder the same thing from last week, push of a button, pick a time to go pick it up, and it's like $5 extra. All right, that $5 compared to the hour in the grocery store all day long, because that saves me time and is more efficient for me. Come back, grill my meats, vegetables, whatever else, to steam them, put them on the grill, whatever, however I'm going to prep it, and then put them in individual containers. Because 11:45, I go and have lunch. And when I have lunch, I already know what I'm eating. It's already made. I'm not spending an hour trying to figure that out. I'm not going out and getting lunch somewhere, all right? It's done. And that just streamlines my process. Again, one less decision to make. You can see I'm almost always wearing a hat. That's partially just because, I'll shower, but I'm not going to take the time to make sure that I look super presentable unless I'm going to look at, say, real estate, or going to meet with potential clients, or, someone that I feel like I need to actually kind of step up my game for. Maybe a date with the wife, that probably counts. Yeah, throw that in there. All right, anyway, so once that kind of gets done with lunch, then I go back to figuring out, all right, so where am I at? I like to take a pulse almost every day and write down my goals and look at the goals from the day before. And this was super hard for me to do. You hear people say it and you're like, yeah, whatever. You kind of start doing it. It's tough. I promise you stick with it, because then that stays at the forefront of your mind all the time. And every night before bed, write down what you need to do the next day. Because again, it's one less thing you have to do the next morning. You're not getting up being like, oh, what do I need to do today? No, I have my list of what I need to do, revenue creating activities. All right, then how do I look at the broad spectrum of my business, keep pushing it forward. And after those kind of things are done, I can wrap up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. That's typically where I like to end up. And then I have the day to kind of have the autonomy to do other things, whether that's socialize, spend time with the family, plan trips, do other things. And then there's some days where it's like, you know what, I want to keep pushing and I want to keep growing this thing. I think one thing I'm going to credit to success, kind of earlier on, is not being materialistic. All right. I get that you see people with the Lamborghinis, the Porsches, all these things. Things are nice. I would rather invest that money in assets, especially at a younger age. Why do that now when you could go and buy real estate? You could go invest in something different, and then moving forward, those are going to be paid for month after month. You just have that's really passive income. When you get into the real estate game, when you start having a large stock portfolio with dividends, and you have a compounding effect there. So I'm a huge advocate in real estate, but I just wanted to throw that in there for a lot of people that are watching. Focus on wealth creation. Stop showing off for the gram. Stop flexing for your friends. Do some of that if you want. That's fine. But to me, I think a lot of people are so insecure that they need their material things to define them. And that's where that comes from more than anything else. All right. I'm sure that these guys, to some extent write off their cars as, marketing for their businesses. And there's smart ways to leverage capital. If you have extra money and your accountant says go spend it before tax season, do it. I get it. But be careful about how you actually allocate funds, especially in the beginning, because I can tell you when it comes to a business, it takes more money to scale than you think. And the biggest reason that people go out of business and they don't stay in this game long term, entrepreneurship in general, not just e-com, just in general, is that they run out of money. Cash flow is an issue. So learn your accounting, learn some of the legal stuff, but learn the fundamental basics of business and then be able to kind of build in that structure. So do you need to go to business school for that? Do you need a college degree for that? Absolutely not. I don't think that that's necessary today. But I will say that having at least a framework to work with is huge. All right. Knowledge is power. And the thing is, you have Google now. Literally, you can go look up just about anything. You can go to Udemy and get a $15 course on accounting, a $15 course on, basic legal terms, basic business structures, how to write a business plan. And for under $100, you could get very, very solid information. All right. So that's kind of what I wanted to break down today. But structuring your time is key. Staying consistent with that is key, because when you find that consistency, there's going to be days you don't want to do stuff. Not just go to the gym, but sit down and look for products. Days you don't want to sit down and, try to run your Facebook ads, make new ad creative, shoot a new video, do anything like that. And those days when you go and do the work, sometimes you create some of the best content, A, which is funny, but it's happened to me numerous times. You find some of the best products because you went back at it, and you typically make leaps and bounds in your businesses on the days you don't want to do anything. All right, when you're motivated, it's easy because people are like, oh, I'm fired up. You know, my goal for 2020 is to make X amount of money, and I'm going to be a beast, and I'm going to go after it. That's great, and you should have that mental drive, but at the end of the day, make sure your actions back up what you're saying. The longer I've been in this, the more that I've looked at, I watch your actions, not what you say all the time, because I'd rather see that. Because in the longevity of things, that's going to show who sticks around and what actually, who backs up what they're saying. Someone like Andy Frisella, for instance, he has the cars, the house, the money, built a massive business, but he's not always flexing with it. And I love that fact about him because, when you hit a point, you don't need to show off. You don't need to prove anything to anybody anymore. All right? Realize that you're in this for yourself. And the self-confidence factor, when you start doing what you say you're going to do, is massive, guys. It is such a big shift that all of a sudden when you say you're going to do something, you're like, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym every day, and you start doing it, and you've been doing it now for 4 months, when you hit that tipping point, then you decide you're going to do something different, and your brain is already there. You're like, yo, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Because you've already gone and shown yourself time and time again. Self-confidence is self-trust. So if you trust yourself to get done whatever you say you're going to do that day, make sure you do it. All right? And there's going to be days sometimes where you bite off more than you can chew, where things come up. And realize that don't beat yourself up completely, but then the next day get better. Always be looking to get 1% better every single day, because you're going to be 365% better at the end of the year. That's kind of it for today, but I just wanted to give you another mental dump, business, lifestyle, but my routine of how I break things down, all right? So books are critical. It is the cheapest ROI on self-education and how to actually go and build a fortune the fastest way possible, all right? I have gotten more value from books than anything else. People are going to tell you different things. Everyone learns differently. I have told this story before. I'm ADD, I'm dyslexic. I grew up hating school, and I hated reading. Reading and writing have always been something I struggled with. Spelling, anything like that, awful. All right, math came fairly naturally to me. Science, same deal. But geology, history, foreign language, English, any of those things, they were tough. But books, when you start reading things that actually cater towards things you want to learn about, there's a pivotal shift of how that changes. So stay after that and find the right books. That's the other thing too. Don't, make sure you're following people that actually have a proven blueprint and a method that you can go and implement, guys. That's all I really wanted to say. Hit that subscribe button though, all right? Join this channel, join this community. I promise you're not gonna be let down. We're constantly adding value. We're constantly trying to, strive for bigger things. And I'm saying we, because I've been getting other people to come and actually do interviews on this channel with different types of e-commerce, different aspects of e-commerce. And we have some great lineups coming up on this channel that really are gonna help you guys have a better realm and understanding of not only entrepreneurship, the business world, but the opportunities that are out there for you. And that's massive. So Tom Hayes here, and thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know if you found value in this. Let me know your daily routine down below, and let's take it from there.